Welcome back, everybody. My name is Tim. This is another Real Ideal Gear review. And today we're looking at the flashlight, the Brinyte HL18 Noctua. And this is a flashlight that was sent in to me for free. They're not asking for it back, so there's the promotional tag up above. And yeah, this is a flashlight that's kind of intriguing because I am huge into the articulating right angle flashlight with a magnetic tail cap. The fact that they sent this with the headlamp strap that comes with the flashlight is awesome. I really like that a lot. It has an 18650 battery in here, so it's got good runtime, good output. I already mentioned the magnetic tail cap. So it just has a lot of great features about this flashlight. And so when I opened the box and did the unboxing on this, I'm impressed. I'm still impressed with this. There's a few things that have kind of waned a little bit on this flashlight, but overall it is a solid performing flashlight. So it comes with the headlamp strap and it just clips in. You just pull it apart and you've got the flashlight freehand now, and you can move that flashlight easily with one hand, right angle. It's awesome. It's also magnetic. And so here's my magnetic plate here. I've got about almost a dozen flashlights on this lamp stand. But it has a great magnetic tail cap. This thing is a strong magnet. I'm not exaggerating on that. Great two-way clip on here as well. That two-way clip can be reversed so that you can have it go the other way for pocket carry. I think this is too big. 18650 battery flashlights are just too big for pocket carry, in my opinion. I just don't. They're too long. The diameter's too big. It's just everything about them. The dimensions are just, for me, not right for pocket carry. I don't need that much stuff in my pockets. And so anyway, that's just my take on this. This is not a pocket carry, so I arranged the two-way clip to be a ball cap. If I want to put this on a ball cap, it's all set up to go. All right. So the outside has pretty good texturing. It's not as aggressive. It's not as grippy as I'd like it to be. But there is texture there, and I think it's okay. And it's got kind of this faceted, square faceting that goes around there, which is pretty good. But what I do like is the fact that the articulating head is extremely easy to move. All right. We have another one here, the Arc Flex. I'll pull this out. This is on my little stand here. One of the things I like to make sure is that the articulating head is easily moved with just one hand. All right, and that's the case with the Arc Flex. I think that's a great standard, and this one is also very easy to move. Now I think it's a little bit loose as far as tension goes on these detents, but they are detents, so you get these clicks that come down, which is, you know, it's nice. I kind of like it. It's solid. For any kind of micro adjusting, as far as like I need this, you know, adjust a little bit more, that's going to happen on my ball cap, or that'll happen with the headlamp strap. You know, that's not anything I'm going to worry too much about as far as the detents having more of them, you know, so I can fine tune. I don't think that's an issue. Okay. Overall, I think the outside condition of the flashlight is pretty good. I think it's got enough grip to kind of hang on to the flashlight. And what's kind of interesting too is that because it's a right angle articulating head, you're not going to have the switch up here. Typically on the right angle flashlights, you're going to have the on-off switch up here on the top, like the H16 from Ace Beam. Your user interface switch is up here. And so you just press that and it does a great job. This is one of my favorite flashlights. But because you have the articulating head, you can't do that. So that's on the side switch is the user interface right here on the side. The other side is your charging port. And this is a magnetic charging port. So here's the first big issue that I have. And if you've watched any of my other flashlight reviews, you know I just cannot stand the magnetic charging systems. And this one comes with its own magnetic cord. Okay, it comes with a proprietary cord because that's what it is. It's a proprietary system. So here's the cord. It's a very small magnetic head on the end of the cord, and it just snaps right into place. USB-A plug-in. Okay, so kind of old school. You should really go to Type-C, but they have USB-A. And then you have this magnetic port, which, by the way, doesn't fit anything else I've ever seen. It's a completely different, unique design. And unique designs are, to me, not worth it when it comes down to flashlights, especially when you're, you know, looking to charge flashlights from a variety of different locations for a variety of different reasons. This is not this right here is one of the things that personally I would not go after a flashlight that has a magnetic charging system. Not anymore. It has to have some very unique circumstances or qualities for me to jump into that, like the Arc Flex. And I'm willing to hang on to that. I originally wasn't going to hang on to that flashlight, but I'll hang on to it now. And that's magnetic charging as well. So magnetic charging to me is just, I don't like it. All right, moving on. Flashlight battery in here is an 18650. It comes with a battery, obviously. It has a great magnetic tail cap, good O-ring seal at the bottom. The water resistance rating on this is IP66. So it's not the best, but it does have some water resistance rating for heavy rain, which, and you know, if you drop it in the water, I'm sure it'd be okay if it's quickly removed from that, but not something you would want to submerge in water for any length of time. Now, what about the output of this flashlight? Well, you have 1600 lumens max on the turbo, and it does have a turbo, and you'd get that for a minute. And then you get 620 on high, and then that you can run that for it looks like just over 3 hours. 150 lumens you can run for 510 minutes, which is 8 hours? Yeah, that's 8 hours. Yeah, 8 hours. And then you get low, which is 50 lumens for 25 hours. And then moonlight is, well, quote unquote, moonlight is 10 lumens. And they don't actually have the length of runtime for that. So they just had 10 lumens, and then it's just like, I guess, indefinite. I guess it runs forever. But if you've watched my previous videos, you'll know that for me, I don't have a huge concern over the runtime for moonlight mode or for turbo, because on either end of the spectrum, when it comes to turbo, it's such a short blast of light. I know you can't run those for very long. All right. And the moonlight mode, I know you can run those for hours and hours, days, most of the time. And because of that, I'm probably going to charge the flashlight somewhere in that day, 24-hour, 48-hour time period, especially if I'm out camping or whatever. I'm going to have a way of charging or replacing the battery. So the moonlight mode is not a non-concern for me. And the turbo mode is also a non-concern because I'm not going to use it very often. So the two modes I'm most concerned with is the high and the medium output. Those are the ones I'm most concerned with. How long does the high output last at what lumen level? And how long does the medium output last and at what lumen level? So to me, these are great. I mean, the high output level, 620 lumens for 3 hours. I like that a lot. And I really like the 150 for 8 hours. Those are great numbers because, again, I'm not going to use this flashlight for 8 hours straight. You know that. That's just the way it is. And if I'm out camping, ultralight camping, whatever, I'm bringing an extra battery. I've got, 2 full nights of nonstop battery usage, 16 hours of battery use, which is not going to be the case. I'm not going to use it for 16 hours. And if I use moonlight, I seemingly can run this, forever based on the stats, right? So 10 lumens, you're going to run this for a long time. So overall, I really like the levels of light that you get out of this flashlight. And I think that's something important to talk about is when you get a flashlight, make sure it has different levels of light that you can choose from, whether it's a ramping or a stepped system. And then from there, it's just all about what kind of lumens do you actually want? What's the level that you want? So great levels, great lumen output. And the candela on this one, let's see here, 1600, it has 23,750 for candela. So what does that mean for this flashlight? Now we're going to get into the headlamp part of here this real quick. But 23,000 candela, this has more of a spot throw projection of light than most other headlamps that I've used. That is a downside to this being a headlamp flashlight. It's multi-purpose for sure, but when you strap this thing into a headlamp kit here, and you use this as a head, I'm going to show you the video of this. You have this bright spot within, and let's just say it's within 6 feet, with a headlamp. Let's say you're walking or you're searching something. You want to know what's in front of you at 6 feet. It's really too much of a focused beam, in my opinion. Now, if you're looking out and you're shining that light further out in front of you, and you're getting out to, like, say, 20, 30 feet out in front of you, then I think there's some real value to this because it's such a strong, bright beam at that point because the candelas is so high. You've got a great concentrated, light gathering reflector in there. So that, I think, is the strength of this, is the distance that it goes. The weakness is when it's on a headlamp setup like this. The second thing to this flashlight that's a weakness is the fact that you have an 18650 battery, and this is not a small flashlight. This has got some things going on with it, right? You've got the articulating head, you've got a heavier clip, 18650 battery, you've got a magnetic tail cap, you've got some heft to this flashlight, and then you put this onto a strap, and look at the strap. And this was the first thing I noticed about the strap. With this size of a flashlight, and you only have the single strap around the head. So what does that mean? This strap is going to probably work its way down on your head to where it's resting on your nose and on top of your ears. which means you have to wear this much, much tighter than I would probably want to. And it also does not have any of that rubberized coating on the inside to keep it from sliding down on your head. Or if you're wearing a climbing helmet, let's say you're doing some rock climbing and things like that, that's also helpful to have some of that rubberized coating on the inside here. So to me, this is a helmet flashlight because helmet flashlights have keepers on them, and they're going to keep this flashlight from sliding down any further. So from that perspective, it's a great mountaineering type setup, but it's not a real great mountaineering application when it comes to close quarters types climbing. So rock climbing, very steep inclines where you're not reaching out with the light. With very shallow inclines, you can reach out with your light. So from a mountaineering perspective, you really got to be careful what kind of terrain that you're going to be primarily on with this flashlight. As far as camping and hiking goes, it's, again, same kind of thing. Like if you're in really dense areas, lots of twists and turns and your trails and that, I'm not sure this is the flashlight for you. But if you're in open area, open spaces, you're climbing over passes, that kind of thing, hardly any trees, and you're looking at, I think that's probably where this is going to excel. Now, I think overall, this is less of a headlamp and more of a hand torch, hand flashlight than anything else. Something to keep in your jacket pocket, on your backpack. This could be something that you have for protection and security. You know, when it comes down to campground or campsite protection and security, where you want to reach out to the edge of your perimeter. And we talked about that in the other extended video on outdoor flashlights. There's 3 levels: protection and security, security and safety, and then safety and convenience. Protection and security is the perimeter of your camping area, wherever you're at. This would be a great flashlight for that. And it's dual purpose. It definitely can do stuff inside the campsite area as well. I don't think this is a flashlight to use inside the tent. I think it's just too close a quarter for a flashlight that has as much of a spotlight conditions to it. So to me, this is a good, solid flashlight if you're looking for something that goes longer distances. That's the key. It's got some great outputs. It's got great run times. I love the 2-way clip. This is really a good I recommend this flashlight for those purposes. If you're looking for an all-purpose flashlight, I think this is not quite there as far as all-purpose flashlights go. It's a little too strong on the throw side of the light. That's just my, it's not a no deal kind of a thing, but that's my recommendation. It's just a little too strong of a light, too focused. It just doesn't have enough breadth to it for what headlamps typically are used for. The majority of the time, headlamps are used for close quarter type illumination. So there you go. That's the kit. There's the code is on the description. There is a discount. Check that out. This is something that they provided me to pass on to you. So there's nothing there that I get any benefit from, but it is something that you get a discount from. So I think it's a great handheld flashlight. Recommend it. Put your comments down below. If you've ever heard of Brinyte before, let me know what you think of the company. And if you have another flashlight of a different kind, it sounds like this is a pretty good company. I've went on their website and looked at a few of their things they have there. They've got some lights. I like it. And I think this is a company that I may end up doing a little bit more business myself personally and purchasing a light or two just to find out a little bit more about the company. So that's kind of how I like to have 3-ish flashlights from a particular brand to kind of get a feel for the company. I'm impressed. I think they're trying to do a little too much. I recommend it. I think they're just trying to do a little too much with this particular light, with this particular size of light as well. So there you go. That's my review. My name's Tim. This has been another Real Ideal Gear review. We'll catch you guys next time.